Today we're gonna try the Mobwife makeup, and I've only seen beautiful olive-skinned, brown-eyed women do it, so it might give crazy white people eyes like that one photo of Miley Cyrus, but let's give it a go. And I know my hair looks absolutely insane. That's a separate issue, and we'll be fixing it later. And if we're being so real, I don't really know what the difference between Mobwife makeup and just like a snatched, sultry, brown toned glam is, because it feels like we're just putting a label on a look that already exists. But I love a trend, so let's give it a go. Skin prep is obviously so important when it's a super matte finish look like these, because my skin in the winter is already drier than the Sahara, so making that moisture lock in everything we need it to do before we bake a bunch of powder on it is going to be most important here. Dewy, love it. It's gonna be immediately gone away after I bake all this powder on my face, but the glow. So I want my skin to look literally satiny when this look is finished, so I'm gonna do the MAC Prep and Prime Skin Primer Base Visage, because it always just gives me that like really like where your skin just looks like soft velvet after you're done. So as you can see, my hormonal acne is just out to get me. The texture is texturing and the redness is redden. So we're gonna have to do some cover up before we get into the main face base. And I know this is gonna sound a little silly to just put primer in one area, but somebody on TikTok, don't remember who, wish I could tag you because you're literally a hero to me, put a sticky primer just on the areas where you're gonna need like extra coverage so that that product that you're placing on top of wherever you're having that acne, that breakout, won't move. So I'm putting just a milk sticky primer specifically where I'm breaking out. And whoever on Maybelline's team made this eraser formula for their concealer, you deserve the world. You are a goddess among us. It just looks like skin. I don't know how else to say that, but this formula looks like skin, which you're like, yeah, you want your skin to look like skin. I get it. But sometimes makeup looks like makeup. Sometimes makeup looks like skin. It's cheap, but it's good. Now we're going in with the Haus Labs foundation. Using my Makeup by Mario brush here. It's looking really yellow, but it blends beautifully. All my foundations aren't the best match right now because my winter skin foundations expired, and I'm not risking that with how my face has been breaking out lately. But just lightly smudging that into the skin, tap, tap, tapping, you know the tricks, you know what works for you. I remember one time a girl commented on my video, you're not supposed to smear it around like that. It's like, makeup is whatever you want it to do. This is what I've learned that gets a good result for me. So whatever you do that gets a good result for you, more power to you. Literally no judgment here. It's giving terror. I'm going in with another layer more than I normally would because I'm having that breaking out happening here, and I'm trying to give as much coverage as I can while it's still looking as natural as possible, which I know you're like, you just put a whole bunch of product on your face, but sometimes that's what you gotta do. Natasha Denona under the eyes, her formula is creamy. It lasts a long time, and when you set it right, it doesn't crease or break and just lasts the whole day. And I'm buffing mine out with a brush, but honestly, it depends on the concealer and whatever gets you the best result. If you want to buff it in with your fingers, if you want to buff it in with a sponge, if that's what you like and what you think looks good for you, do that. I'm personally using a brush just for this specific concealer and look. Do whatever you want. And I didn't place any here, but I'm just taking the excess that's on my brush and brushing it in to the spots that I would want a little bit more coverage without it being, you know, full coverage concealer placement. We're gonna do a little Fix It spray from MAC in between steps, kind of lock everything in. You don't need that much. You don't need as much as what I just did. That's how much I like to do. It's entirely preference based. Again, the glow. I really don't use my Charlotte Tilbury contour stick anymore, but I do feel like if we're going for aesthetics, a Mobwife she got money. She got money, right? So maybe we use some luxury products moving forward here, because she would probably be using the Charlotte, because she can afford. I want to say it's like at $50 now, the $50 tube. I don't know. I bought this way back when on sale, and I really don't use it so often because I've just found products that are so similar that I like just as much. That's a crazy amount of product on my nose, but that's what I get for talking and makeuping at the same time. And of course, gotta contour my double chin area because I want to look snatched, not double chinned. I love my double chin, but this look requires a cut. I'm just using a separate Makeup by Mario brush to kind of buff that out, blend it down into the skin. There's a fine line between snatched and dirty looking, so we're gonna find that fine line and we're gonna walk it. The most difficult part, contouring the nose. Gotta make it look snatched without looking like a poor peasant boy from the streets of 1800s England, which is a real thing that I've experienced issues with. I haven't done a talking video in so long, so if my cadence is off and I'm doing weird pauses, it's because I'm a little out of practice. But I don't know, I think that looks pretty good so far. Do a little bit of a rose blusher. I always get nervous when I use that Rare Beauty formula because it's so pigmented, but I feel like for this look we want that really kind of rosy cheek. And I'm gonna do apple up to the cut, apple up to the cut, because we're gonna get that little bit of a lifting effect with this. Now we're gonna play the fun game of, I forgot to do my eyebrows first, so there's a bunch of makeup on my face. How do I do them without messing up my entire face? So I'm just going in with some gel now to try to get them into the shape I'm desiring. Just kind of hoping for the best because I really should have done this 4 steps ago. And then just kind of filling those in as I desire. Then we're gonna set in. And then here's where it gets a little tricky. You wanna make sure all your product is exactly where you want it to be. If there's any lines, any discoloration where you need more product, fix that before you set. So fix wherever you would see an imperfection before you put the powder on, because once you go on with the powder, it's too little too late. So I'm gonna take a small brush, just lightly set under my eyes, under my chin, like on the sides of my nose and my forehead. And I'm just lightly pressing with a powder puff, a more pressed pigmented powder over those areas where I had to do a lot more coverage because I want it to look really soft, matte finish. So those areas need a little bit more help because they have all that texture and redness going on. Now that we're loving the base, we're gonna go into the part that can make or break it, which is the eyes. So here's where it can go from great to scary white people eyes really, really quickly, and that's when you add your black eyeliner. So you just have to be so careful with your application and the product you're using, because if you put on too much, or if it's like a runny or product and you have watery eyes, it's gonna start to look really crazy really quickly. So the less the better. You can always add more. It's a lot harder to take it off. And of course, because I just said that, I'm probably gonna mess it up, because that's just how it goes. The beautiful thing though about this look is it is a little grungier, so if you mess it up a little, you can smudge it out. You can smudge it and make it look like it was purposeful and part of the look. And of course, as we said, I immediately smudged it up, so I'm gonna take that and I'm just gonna try to blend it over as much as possible, and then take a lighter brown and kind of smudge it out, make it look purposeful, keep this sharp. Sometimes the best way to smudge is literally taking your finger, lightly patting, lightly pushing the product where you want it to go. I don't know, right now it feels like crazy white people eyes, but sometimes you just have to put on your mascara and lashes and hope for the best. Okay, finished look. I did my lips and my hair off camera. I think the hair still looks insane. There was only so much we could do with what we were working with. But what do we think? If there's anything you would have personally done different, please let me know, because always room for improvement. Bye.